W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater. Net.
Good evening, and welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KDA-BYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2399 with a release date of Friday, October 20th, 2023, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. A global solar eclipse QSO party offers a world of insights. A record fine from the FCC, and Amateur Radio Digital Communications is looking for volunteers for 4 committees. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2399 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Union, Kentucky, here's Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG.
Our top story looks at the recent annular solar eclipse known as the Ring of Fire. It was visible in some parts of the Americas, but amateur radio operators and other citizen scientists proved that its impact on the ionosphere was felt around the world. Jack Parker, W8ISH, brings us that report.
The world was invited on October 14th to the Solar Eclipse QSO Party, part of the HAMSI Festivals of Eclipse Ionospheric Science Projects, and HAMS, shortwave listeners and university-based researchers accepted the challenge. In the western United States and parts of South America, where the eclipse was most visible, eclipse watching was combined with making QSOs on all bands using all modes to help generate data about the eclipse's changing impact on propagation. The QSO party was the largest of a number of experiments, and few participants took the research and the party theme more to heart than Nathaniel Frizzle, W2NAF, HAMSI's founder. His own QTH became a party with a purpose, filled with food as well as operators and assistants. His wife, Rachel, W2RUF, his mother, Anne Marie, KC2KRQ, one of his students, Thomas, KE2BAC, and scientist Bob McGuire, N4HY, were on the team. They called CQ, monitored Doppler shift changes throughout the eclipse, watched the reverse beacon network, and received PSK reporter updates from Phil Gladstone, N1DQ, the website owner. Nathaniel told Newsline that results gathered from QSOs made worldwide will be released over time and will ultimately appear in a peer-reviewed journal. If you were late to the party or missed it entirely, more experiments are planned for the total eclipse in April of 2024. Hams looking to get involved can join the Google group by visiting the HAMSI website at hamsi.org. Noting that hams in places like West Bengal, India, eagerly participated this month, Amateur Radio Community Coordinator Gary Minnikin, AF8A, said he encouraged hams there to set up a similar study when Asia experiences its next solar eclipse. Meanwhile, Ed Epchak, WX2R Public Information Officer, told Newsline that HAMSI is continuing its outreach to clubs whose members want to learn more, just in time for the QSO party in April. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
The ham radio community in Virginia and beyond has lost a good friend and longtime leader. We hear about him from Tim Dameron, N8TMW.
An active and enthusiastic contester and DXer, William Smith, K4WMS, is being remembered by friends who shared time with him at Dayton or worked hard as a team member with him operating in DX contests from his shack. Bill became a silent key October 6th after a brief illness. The former U.S. Army captain extended his friendly competitiveness into other areas such as raceboat driving and bowling. He was also a local leader in amateur radio in his Virginia community and had served as president of the Mount Airy VHF Club and Frankfurt Radio Club. Bill was also remembered as a frequent visitor to Hamvention in Ohio. According to his QRZ.com page, He first got his license in 1976 when he lived in New Jersey and moved in 1999 to Virginia. In an online tribute, friends remembered him as a radio operator who kept the door to his shack always open, leaving everyone with great memories of days and nights spent contesting together. Bill was 86. This is Jim Danner, NHTMW.
There's a new postage stamp in Australia, and it's being issued as a tribute to radio. John Williams, VK4JJW, has those details.
November of 1923 marked a big moment in public radio in Australia as the station 2BL, which was first licensed as 2SB, went on the air with its first public radio broadcast. To mark the occasion, Australia Post has issued a stamp with an illustration that Katrina Noble, Executive General Manager of Retail, called an iconic scene. The artist chose a woman listening to a radio console set to the Music Lovers Hour on that early station. This was the station that eventually became ABC Radio Sydney. The stamp's first day of issue was Tuesday, 17th of October. It costs $1.20 in Aussie dollars. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
Amateur Radio Digital Communications is looking for volunteers who can serve on one of its 4 committees in 2024. The ARDC committees handle grant application evaluation, technical advising for 44Net, and conduct review. The ARDC is also looking for volunteers to serve on its newest committee, which will evaluate and analyze grant reports. To apply or to get details about each of these committees, visit the link that appears in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. The application deadline is October 31st. Charging a New York City broadcaster with radio piracy, the U.S. regulator is fining them an unprecedented amount, as we hear from Andy Morrison, K9 AWM.
In the U.S., the Federal Communications Commission has levied a record pirate radio fine of $2.3 million against an unlicensed New York City broadcaster. This is one of the earliest actions the agency has taken under legislation passed in January of 2020 to toughen the FCC's enforcement. The law, known as the Pirate Act, gives the FCC increased ability to act against pirate broadcasters, authorizing fines of as much as $100,000 per violation, up to a total of $2 million. The acronym stands for Preventing Illegal Radio Abuse Through Enforcement. According to a report in Radio World, the operators of Radio Impacto 2 received notices of apparent liability in March for their unlicensed operation on 105.5 megahertz from a station located in the city's borough of Queens. According to media accounts, Radio Impacto 2 never responded to the FCC as is required. Radio World's attempts to reach the station operators were unsuccessful. The FCC said that collection of the record forfeiture payment may be referred to the U.S. Department of Justice, which enforces such fines. In taking its further action, the FCC said that the station operators continue to be on the air even now and have promoted their programming to a prospective radio audience. According to the Radio World report, one of the station operators, Luis Angel Ayora, had also been issued a $20,000 forfeiture in 2015, which was never paid, resulting in a seizure of broadcast equipment. This is Andy Morrison, K9 AWM.
The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation has stopped giving listeners the time of day. Shortwave radio, however, is still at it. Dave Parks, WB8 ODF, explains.
CBC Radio has stopped broadcasting the official time signal of the National Research Council. The broadcast began in 1939, providing a national time synchronization signal for anyone relying on the accuracy of their clocks. CBC Radio halted the broadcasts on October 9th, noting that if any of its transmissions over HD radio or the web causes a delay of several seconds, invalidating the accuracy of what was being sent. Shortwave radio comes to the rescue. However, the NRC's official time station, CHU, operated by the Council's Institute for National Measurement Standards, broadcasts on 3.33, 7.85 and 14.67 megahertz to deliver the time, as always, in English and French. 3 atomic clocks are located at the transmitter site in Ottawa, Canada. The station began broadcasting the time on an experimental basis in 1929 using the call sign VE9OB. It became known as CHU in 1938. This is Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the K2ADA 2-meter repeater in Ocala, Florida, on Friday and Saturday nights at 7. HAM's active in awards programs such as Worldwide Flora and Fauna, Global Mountains Award, and Islands on the Air, to name a few, are watching for changes to be made to the CQGMA project, which was taken over by the DARC in Germany during this past summer. IT volunteers have been handling the transfer of the source code and the move from the DARC servers. Ron Yerker, DG2RON, a member of the DARC board, said that additional IT volunteers are needed in related areas such as handling requests for support. The CQGMA project is a portal to many outdoor operating award groups, including IOTA, WWFF, and GMA. Interested parties can contact DARC directly by email to receive further information or to volunteer. The email address is dg2ron@darc.de. October 24th marks the start of a special event that scouts everywhere have been waiting for. Bill Stearns, NE4RD, tells us about their agenda.
This is the big weekend for scouting. Jamboree on the air and Jamboree on the internet is this weekend, October 20th through the 22nd. This is the world's largest scouting event taking place on the air and online to connect scouts from around the world with each other to share in their culture and experiences. The K2BSA has several portable stations on the air for this event, including K2BSA Portable 1 in Milton, Massachusetts, K2BSA 4 in Prattville, Alabama, K2BSA Portable 5 in Hernando, Mississippi, K2BSA Portable 6 in Bakersfield, California, K2BSA Portable 7 in Cloverdale, Oregon, K2BSA Portable 8 in Wheeling, West Virginia, and finally K2BSA Portable KL7 in Chudiak, Alaska. Many other clubs and scouting units will be on the air with various call signs calling CQ JODA. This is not a contest, and sharing the experience of amateur radio will occur on all bands and all modes in this travel-free jamboree. Registration for the event to get your JamFuzz ID is on joti.info, joti.info. Additional JODA information can be obtained on our website at k2bsa.net. For Amateur Radio Newsline and the K2BSA Amateur Radio Association, this is Bill Stearns, NE4RD.
Ham Radio University is back. The day-long program on Long Island, New York, devoted to all things amateur radio, will be an in-person event again in January. CellMB KB3TZD has the details.
The educational conference known as Ham Radio University is marking its 25th anniversary by returning to its pre-pandemic venue, campus of Long Island University in Brookville, New York. On Saturday, January 6th, experts will lead discussions on more than 24 topics. HRU has provided its programming without interruption throughout the pandemic, but this is the first time in 3 years it is returning to real classroom settings. Topics will include software-defined radio, how to build an HF station, Morse code, and parks on the air. A testing session will also be offered for those who would like to upgrade their ham radio license or become a ham for the first time. Admission is free, but there is a suggested donation of $10. For those unable to attend, videos from the January HRU will be posted on HRU's YouTube channel. The channel also offers videos of previous year's sessions. For additional details or a schedule of presentations, visit hamradiouniversity.org. That's hamradiouniversity, all one word, .org. This is KB3TZD.
In the world of DX, Volker DL1WH will be active holiday style as DL1WH-P from Fairmarn Island, IOTA number EU128 until the 29th of October. People on operate mainly CW with some sideband, QSL via home call, direct, or by the Bureau. Listen for special event station II0MKFR being used by members of ARI Roma IQ0RM. They will be operating from the Maker Faire Rome from the 20th to the 22nd of October. For details, see QRZ.com. In France, the radio club de Vangla F4KLR will be active with the special call sign TM125ED between the 4th of November through to the 31st of December. The club is marking the 125th anniversary of the public demonstration by radio pioneer Eugene Dubertet of wireless communication between the Eiffel Tower and the Pantheon. All CW and sideband QSOs will be confirmed automatically via the Bureau and EQSL. For other details, see QRZ.com. Listen for John W2GD operating as P40W from Aruba, IOTA number SA036, from the 24th to the 30th of October. He will be mostly active during the CQ Worldwide DX Sideband Contest. Outside the contest, listen for him using CW on 160, 30, 17, and 12 meters. Find QSL details on QRZ.com. For our final story, we go to the islands of Jersey and Guernsey in the English Channel and discover that thanks to radio, in this case Citizens Band radio, these aren't islands when it comes to social geography. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, brings us that story.
The magic of shortwave radio first enchanted Robert Clancy and Peter LePage when they were teenagers working together in a small bakery on Guernsey Island. The words that were carried over the airwaves gave the youngsters' world its shape as they listened to the voices of countries beyond their lives in the English Channel. In 1979, the friends turned the dial one day and discovered voices closer to home, Citizens Band on Guernsey and on the neighbouring island of Jersey. The frequencies came alive with local voices they found familiar and friendly. Those same voices only grew quieter in the years that followed as mobile phones gained popularity and CB fell rather out of favour. Now, in an era where mobile phones have a stronghold and social media has emerged as a communications giant, the voices of CB operators on Guernsey and Jersey are returning in loud chorus. CB's resurgence was recently documented in a feature story on ITV Channel Island News. Robert, who uses the handle DJ, and Peter, whose handle is Mebo2, are still on the air, keeping busy as new friends arrive on many of the 80 CB channels using AM, FM, and SSB. Robert told Newsline that the regular voices on Guernsey belong to radio operators with handles like Mermaid, Rubber Lobster, The Bear, and Meter Man, and the familiar voices heard on Jersey include Road Sweeper, Little Genie, and Catweasel. The island CBers have different breaking channels, but online they share a Facebook group whose membership is growing. Robert told Newsline that the Facebook group has members worldwide, joined by lots of expats and CBers from around the world. Peter told the ITV that radio has been, quote, the best part of my life. 4 decades later, Robert and Peter are neighbours as well as friends, and are finding the connections woven by the unseen thread of radio waves to be growing even stronger. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
If you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in, send it on. We're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or field day participation. Something that is out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we would like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. Meanwhile, give some thought to the true poetry of amateur radio and let your literary self shine through. Visit our website to learn more about the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. Use the entry form on our website and please follow the rules for the number of syllables you must use to write your 3-line haiku. We cannot accept entries that do not follow traditional haiku form. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, Amateur Radio Digital Communications, OSPost.com, CQ Magazine, the DARC, David BR, K7DB, Ed FCHAC, WX2R, 445DX News, Facebook, FCC, Gary McKeaton, AF8A, HamGallery.com, ITV News, Nathaniel Frizzell, W2NAF, QRZ.com, Radio Info Australia, Rebecca Key, KO4KBG, Robert Clancy, Ron, DC2RON, ShortwaveRadio.de, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2 GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG in Union, Kentucky, saying 7-3. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Set to start in about 9 minutes.
W8VPV. Repeater.
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday Night VHF UHF Net. My name is Frank. My call is W8EZT, but for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open, directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. Just like that. The purpose of this net is to bring together amateur radio operators for the purposes of exchanging amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll start with announcements, then ask to take check-ins from any officer or club member with an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that's complete, we'll start taking check-ins, 5 at a time. We'll confirm by the call before moving on to the next. When I get 5, we'll process those and work on. If you're checking in just to give me the numbers, and I do appreciate that, please just say in and out. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give me your call, repeat it phonetically, followed by your name and location. When all check-ins have been worked, I'll repeat the announcements and then close down this net. We also operate an HF plus 6 band exploration net. Tonight it'll be on 80 meters. We'll announce the exact frequency on this repeater on the 2-meter repeater. Right around, just before the net starts, right around 9:30. If you have the equipment and the capability and the license, we sure would appreciate hearing you out there. Tonight's frequency will be 3.827 or thereabouts on 80 meters. All right, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Let me switch pages here and we'll grab the announcements. All right, coming up this Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. at Pilgrim United Church, Broad and 2nd Street, and on Zoom, will be an activity meeting featuring Steve Dick, K1RF, who will be discussing end-fed antennas. There's something for everyone there, extra or technician. It's a great way to learn about these very useful antennas that only require 2 mount points at the 2 ends. Newsletter articles are due coming up on October 28th. That's only about a week away, less than a week away. So if you got a newsletter article, please wrap that up and get that in. We're kind of wrapping up the year, of course. Wednesday, November 8th will be our last business meeting. We'll have a short activity meeting to be announced. At least I haven't heard about it yet. Wednesday, the 22nd, we'll have another activity meeting. That is the day before Thanksgiving. And we'll have an announcement about that. And our final meeting of the year is actually our Christmas dinner. That's a dinner and program by Dr. Max Grubb about early broadcasting and emphasizing broadcasting in this area. He's an instructor for, I believe, the college to the east here, Warren. But anyway, I think he'll be a very good speaker from everything I've heard. All right, that's everything I've got. Do we have any announcements of general interest from officers or club members or anybody else?
It's Youngstown University.
Thank you. That's brain dead for you. Thank you very much, John. Youngstown University. Any announcements for anybody out there of general interest?
K8ZT.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Just a reminder, the program this Wednesday on the end-fed antennas, we're looking to do a club project on that in the new year, so stop by, take a look, and it's something we can easily put together as a club project. Greg is already looking for sourcing parts for it, so that's something that's going to be coming up, and John beat me to the Youngstown State, so that's good to go.
All I could vision was Warren itself, and even though I've been on the Youngstown State campus, so thank you very much, Anthony. Do we have anybody else out there with any other announcements? All right, without further ado, this is W8VPV. We'll start taking member check-ins. Anthony, I'll check you in. Please come on back if you have anything else for the club, and looking for more.
Recheck, please. This is KZP.
All right, I got Anthony. We'll get right there to you. I heard somebody was on top of you. Who is the other station?
KD8YAX.
All right, got you, Forrest. Let me go back to Anthony here real quick. Go ahead.
To mention, this is one of the busiest weekends of the entire year for single sideband contesting coming up, starting Friday night at 8 p.m. It's the CQ Worldwide. It's all the HF bands, not the work bands, but all the rest of the HF bands. You can work any DX stations, not US stations. Your exchange will be 5, 9, and 4, because we're in Zone 4 for that. So, again, the CQ Worldwide phone contest this weekend. KACT clear.
Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that information. Okay, stand by, Forrest. I've got you in there. I'm looking for 4 more check-ins.
WO3X.
You in there, John? Next.
WA3JAT.
WA3JAT. Jim, got you. Next.
Great, Alpha Charlie Papa.
I believe that was N8ACP Chris, and there was somebody else underneath him. Go ahead, the other station.
W8DIS.
DIS, got you, Bill. Let's see here. We'll go back to the top. Go ahead, Forrest.
I should have said in and out.
All right, Forrest, thanks very much, and I will be there to pick you up Wednesday at 6:15.
Okay.
I think that was an affirmative. Yes, I'll pick you up 6:15. All right, next up, John, WO3X.
Good evening, Frank, and all on the net. This is WO3X. Oh yeah, in the email that Anthony sent out, I think it was yesterday. I think it's the last item. It's about the newsletter. So the articles for the November newsletter need to be in by October 30th. So the words October and November were inadvertently interchanged in that message. So let's see. Yeah, like I wrote, I found my 70 centimeter beam antenna, and so I'll check that for operation at 435 megahertz in case we need it. So with that, back to the net. This is WO3X.
Very good, John. Did you say the 31st is when they were due?
Well, he had the 30th, but it said November 30th. Well, that's because there's only 30 days in November. So I guess it could be October 31st for the November newsletter.
Okay, all right, I've got it. It's basically that weekend, one way or the other. I will have something. I just don't know what it is yet. Very good, John. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right, next up is Jim, WA3JAT. Go ahead.
Good evening, Frank. Good evening to everybody on the net. I don't have anything special tonight. Don't know how many of you are Browns fans, but that game yesterday was pretty wild, and I still haven't quite gotten over how it ended. That's about all from here. Back to you, Frank, W8VPV, WA3JAT.
Very good. Yeah, I heard they did some good things. Shades of can they be coming alive, and do we have a seriously competitive team here? I remember the days of the cardiac kids, and boy, you didn't dare leave your seat for more than 2 minutes. You come back to a totally different game. So, very good. Thanks, Jim. Next up, Chris, N8ACP. Go ahead.
Good evening there, Frank, and all on net. Well, a cold evening last night, but a nice day today. And I finally broke down and turned the furnace on last night, and it was a very balmy 62 degrees up in the master bedroom, which was 10 degrees warmer than it was the night before. So it was time to turn the furnace on. Works great. I don't know if I'm going to leave it set at 62 or not, but it's pretty good for now. I think I got to take a blanket off the bed. I woke up sweating. So today, 12 meters was very, very active. Tuvalu was coming in. There's a de-expedition down there between, Hawaii and Australia in the South Pacific. South Cook was coming in, again, on 12 meters. And Japan was booming in on 10 meters. A lot of people on the upper band. So, and it was breaking my heart because I don't have the Tuvalu or South Cook, and I cannot transmit right now on 12 meters because I have not got my MFED rigged up in its final position yet. So bad SWR on 12 and 10. I can work 20, 40, and 15, and that's it. But yeah, so that's all the news from here. Back to net control and 73 to all from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa.
Very good. Chris, sounds like you're getting moved into your new QTH, and yeah, 62 is about as cold as I ever want a bedroom. I mean, I like sleeping in a cold room, but under lots of nice warm covers, so I can relate there. And it was a great commentary on the current band conditions. We are doing our technician class and talked about band conditions in the ionosphere just last Sunday, and mentioned to them they should listen into the net tonight. So, folks, if you're in our class and you're listening, that's exactly what ham radio is all about. Chris is having the time of his life. So, very good. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the check-in. As always, good hearing you in there. We'll catch you down the page. W8VPV, looking for the next check-in. Oh, wait, I got Bill here. I don't want to leave you behind. Go ahead, Bill.
Hello, one and all. It's great to be back on the air again. Hold on. Sorry, had to cough there. It's been a heck of a month for us. On the near end of September, my wife had to spend a week in the hospital, and then on October 9th, I had to take her down to emergency, and that was the Monday. We spent all night in emergency. Next morning, they treated her and sent her home and kept me. So I spent a week in the hospital, had another heart procedure done while I was there, and now I'm sitting here talking on the radio again, which is good, but I'm sitting here with pneumonia. So that's all the negativity I can add to the net, I guess, but break. So anyway, I'm here. I'm awful glad to be back on the air. Really looking forward to hearing about infed antennas, but I'm afraid I won't be attending. I'm going to try and zoom in if I can, and see what I can learn about them. So that's about it. Now that I laid some negativity on the net, hopefully you'll forgive me for that, and we can get back on the air here. So W8DIS, back to net.
Oh, I am so sorry to hear what you and your wife are going through there, Bill. As I've said many times before, this getting old stuff is not what it was cracked up to be. But you're sounding good. You're coming in loud and clear, and I'd love to see you, even if it's on Zoom. This should be a very interesting program. So thoughts go out to both you and your wife, and hope to see you then Wednesday there. So, all right, let's see here. We've got more openings here. So this is W8VPV looking for 5 more check-ins. Go ahead now. Call sign only. Okay, I had a KE something in and out. Go ahead again.
KE8YTG, in and out.
Okay, what's the name to go with that, YTG?
Steve.
Very good, Steve. I try to associate names and calls. Very good. Appreciate you stopping by. Next check-in, please.
8HMS.
Another Steve. Next check-in, please.
KA8WTK.
KA8WTK, Bill. Get down to you in just a minute. Another check-in.
KE8YIR, Mark, in and out.
Got you, Mark. Thanks for stopping by. Next.
WB8CXO.
WB8CXO. And boy, that voice processor is really cranking tonight. All right, let me get back to the top of the page here. We'll pick up, let's see, Steve, was it YTG? I think I got you. HMS, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, WAVPV in the net, KHMS. Good evening, Frank. Good evening, everybody. Good to hear you. And Frank, thanks for running the net. And yeah, Brown's game was unreal, and it's nice to be paying a $200 million quarterback that can't play. But anyway, that's a whole other story. Whenever the bad weather does, so I think that's about it. I'm on the 440 side, by the way. Back to net.
Okay. Boy, you were right on the edge there tonight. Normally, you're coming in pretty clear on the 440 side, but you were down on the noise tonight. But I got most of that, and Yeah, I did not. I was busy teaching class today, or Sunday, so I did not see the Browns play. I just heard about it secondhand. I'll have to go try to find a bit of it and watch it. But, well, what can I say? Maybe a giant has finally awoken, and they'll do something this year. If not, as the old saying goes, there's all of us next year. All right, Steve, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Next up, Bill, KA8WTK. Good evening. How you doing, Bill?
Frank and everybody on the net, W8BPV, KA8WTK here, Bill in Talmadge. Spent the weekend in Chicago. Went up there for a wedding. The architecture in some of these old parts of Chicago, like where this venue was, are really fantastic. Stone buildings and stone-faced apartment buildings, and this was in an old Masonic temple that's been converted into a wedding venue. And it was, we had a good trip, a little drizzly going up, but my wife's old Vibe with 108,000 miles on it got 29.96 miles per gallon on the trip. You almost can't beat it. Back to net, W8VPV, KA8WTK.
A very good, excellent vacation then. Yeah, Chicago architecture, at least in the city, is amazing. I was there a number of years, not that long ago, only about 12, 15 years ago for a training seminar, and it was held in gosh, I ran across there was a major shopping store there that is known worldwide, and we were in the next building over, and the old one we had was a complex, I think a manufacturing complex that had been re-engineered. There was a Ruth and Chris Steakhouse in there, really high-end, but very good. Excellent. All right, let's see here. Next up, whoops, Marks was in and out. Mike, WB8CXL. How you doing this evening?
We're good, Frank. Hello to you. Thanks for taking the net, and hello to everybody that has checked in. I was on a crazy internet search the other night, and I was thinking about old hams that I've known, and searching for a few of them. Unfortunately, most of them are silent keys. And I put the call sign WA8VSY in a search engine. And the only thing that showed up was a QSL card that somebody was selling on eBay. WA8VSY was Thomas R. Weiss. When I first joined the club back in '69, Tom was a well-established member, a couple years older than me, and we became friends. And the QSL card that I received, his QSL card was from a conversation he had in 1967 with WA8TKV Ken in Ashland, and it was on 2-meter AM. Back then, 2-meter AM was popular, and Tom was active there before he came on to 6-meter AM. So I don't know. Tom was an awesome ham radio operator. He was police dispatcher for Norton Police Department. That was an excellent job for him. Tom was an excellent radio operator, net control operator. Whenever I had a function that I was organizing, if I needed a net control, I got Tom to do it, and he anxiously accepted the task and always did a good job. And unfortunately, we lost Tom back in the late 90s. So that's the story from this end. I generally don't have anything of interest. That may or may not be of interest, but that's what's going on here. Back to net. Everybody have a great week. WB at CXO.
Very good, Mike. I don't want to identify myself as an old-timer, but I do remember Tom back in the late 60s, early 70s when I was a non-licensed club member. Nice guy. I do remember he was dispatched for, I didn't know if it was Norton or Barberton. I guess Norton, come to think of it. And yeah, I don't remember when now, but I know we lost him to the Big C. I think that's what it was a number of years ago. So, interesting old memories. Wow. Oh well, his call sign lives on. All right, thanks, Mike. And let's see here. I'm down at the bottom of the list, so let's get 5 more check-ins. This is W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday night, VHF UHF net.
Recheck.
Go ahead, recheck. I cannot copy it. Sounds like Steve from the signal level, but I cannot copy you.
I'm trying to switch to
Nope, in and out of the repeater. I can hear there's voice in there, but I cannot copy you tonight. Sorry, Steve. Maybe if you can move the antenna, try higher power. Maybe even at the risk of interfering with something, try VHF, the 2.7 side.
What's this?
I caught that. It was how's this? Still breaking up, but I caught that. I got part of that, but I think you're still in and out. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and get some more calls, and I'd say try again in a couple of minutes if you can relocate or kick it to higher power. Looking for more check-ins. This is W8VPV.
8 KVI.
Got you, Ron. Next.
N8 VAY, Ralph, in and out.
Very good, Ralph. I missed part of your call. It was N8 something AY. What was the something?
November 8, Bravo, Alpha, Yankee.
Very good, Ralph. Good to hear you in there. Don't be a stranger. Appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by. Looking for more check-ins.
KE8 ULA, Leo.
All right, got you, Leo. Next, more check-ins. All right, I'm going to go back, take these two, and then take them one by one. I think they're kind of running down. It's a football night, and I know if you're like me, you're busy taking advantage of the day-to-day. Ron, go ahead, sir.
I had to take advantage of the day-to-day to repair my sink because it was leaking again. It was a simple fix. I've got it down to about 5 minutes, and I've got about 45 of the little rubber sheets left, so I think I'm set if it starts dripping later.
Oh, yeah, this is that same problem. Did you change your water heater setting or anything?
Oh, yeah, I changed that long ago. Now I'm probably getting about 5, 6 months out of one of these seals before it goes. Hey, I'm on a new microphone I'm trying on my radio. How do I sound?
I was going to comment and say you sound like a different radio. I don't think as good as your other microphone or your other radio. When we get done with the net, you can use the echo back feature and listen to yourself. It sounds, give me a count to 5 again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, it looks like it's taken a lot of the lows and the highs out. Your voice is clearly getting through. You're totally understandable, but it's taken a lot of the, it might be like a contest microphone or something. It's taken a lot of the highs and the lows out of your voice.
The $7 microphone for the Palfang.
Oh, okay. I think I've got one of those too. Very good. Anything else, Ron?
Nope, that's about it. I just had to do the, the semi-annual plumbing, and I suppose I'll just have to get used to that.
Yeah, I know you had to do it before. All right, very good then. Well, have a good evening, and hope to catch you later this week sometime. Next up, K8 ULA Leo. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Frank. Hello, everyone on the net. My wife's recovering from knee surgery, so I'm trying to be a nurse and trying to do some of the things she normally does around here. It's keeping me very busy. I guess you don't realize how much the other half is doing until you have to do it yourself, right? Looking forward to Wednesday's meeting, InFed Antennas. I'm going to zoom in for that. I'm trying to learn as much as I can before I get a HF rig here. I figure an antenna is a good place to start, right, before I get an HF rig. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can. KE8ULA, back to the net.
Very good, Leo. Yeah, this will be the presentation on it, and as you might have heard Anthony at the beginning of the net, we will have sometime early next year a construction project, and it'll be a fairly cheap kit to buy, just a toroid and a little bit of copper wire and then the antenna, and we can design and make antennas for different bands and multitude of bands. So it'll be an interesting program, and I think a couple of informal surveys that I've done have shown that there's just a lot of interest in the club in antennas, so we're going to have some more antenna programs in the new year for sure. Anything else?
No, copy that. Yeah, looking forward to that. Like I said, I'm trying to learn as much as I can about, I figure antennas is probably the best place to start before I get my HF rig, right? KE8ULA.
Absolutely, because ultimately the antenna is going to be bound by where you live, the trees around, the restrictions, maybe what the significant other has to say. In the field, we call it the spousal acceptance factor. Yeah, antennas are a great place to start, so very good. All right, then, I'm at the bottom of the list, so we'll take check-ins one at a time now. This is the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, W8VPV, Monday night VHF UHF net. Do we have any more check-ins? All right, looks like it's going to be a real small night tonight, but that's not surprising this time of year. All right, we'll go through the announcements to wrap this net up, and we will have a 80-meter net on 3.827 or thereabouts. I'll have to find the exact frequency. I'll do that as soon as we get off this net. I will announce it on the 27 side of the repeater. So let's see. This Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ. That's at Broad and 2nd Street. And on Zoom, we'll be having an activity meeting featuring Steve Dick, K1RF. I love that call sign. We'll be discussing InFed antennas, something for everyone and a great way to learn about these useful antennas. Newsletter articles are due October 30th. If you have something for the newsletter, send it in. Newsletter editor at cfarc.org. Wednesday, November 8th will be our last business meeting of the year. We'll probably have a short activity meeting following that, some kind of a presentation. Wednesday, November 22nd, that's the day before Thanksgiving, we will have a meeting. I don't know what the program will be yet. We're still working on that, but we'll come up with something. And then finally, our last get-together of the year, Wednesday, December 6th, will be our Christmas dinner and program. It'll be a presentation by Dr. Max Grubb about early broadcasting and emphasizing broadcasting in this area. That's radio broadcasting. So it should be a very interesting point. We'll wrap this thing up. In preparing to close this net, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. Also, we have openings for net control. That's exactly what I do, and that's basically bring together people in here and let them tell people what they're doing. So if you're interested in that, by all means, please reach out to one of the officers. At this time, I'll close the net with 16 check-ins, myself included, and return this repeater to normal and customary amateur radio use. At 9 p.m., this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net, 73.
There, so you could add another one for the numbers.
All right, I got you logged in as number 17. Appreciate that. What was the name, please, again?
This is Keith in Uniontown. KE8TQR.
Gotcha. Appreciate it, Keith. Thanks for stopping by. We got you in the log. Hope to catch you next week. Somebody will be here. All right, then. Thanks. This is W8VPV. We're clear.
KE8TQR. We're clear.
What's the next frequency?
With the 80 meter net will be somewhere around 3.827 megahertz. I have not, I'm just turning my radio on now. I've got to listen around and find an empty spot on the band. So stand by. I'll make that announcement on the radio here in about 20 minutes. W8, I guess it's still VPV.
WAVTV-KHMS, you copy any better, Frank?
Hey, there you go, Steve. You're coming in pretty good on 2 meters. Or no, maybe that was 440 side. Yeah, I got you loud and clear now.
Okay, yeah, just real quick question. I just wonder if you found your magazine.
I did mean to mention that. Thank you very much. The CQ Ferry has delivered yet another magazine. Somebody told me that CQ was going to go stop publishing and go to an all-online version, similar to what ARRL is thinking about.
Oh, wow. I did not hear that, but I do know that I didn't receive CQ for 3 or 4 months. They had some problem or something. They didn't publish anything, and then they started again, and they extended my subscription to cover that. But, oh my gosh, CQ I don't mind, but I sure hope QST doesn't do that. I'm not big on looking at stuff online.
I agree with you. I can't tell you how many times I've fallen asleep with the magazine propped up on my chest as I read it. And when I get done, I will often take them into my doctor's office, peel my address off, but just leave them in the reading room or reading material rack, and who knows, maybe somebody will pick it up and go, oh, there is still ham radio stuff, and who knows. But, yeah, I'll miss that if either one discontinues.
Oh, yeah, same here. I know a lot of people quit getting the Beacon Journal and just pay to read it online, but, I still get the paper because I get it digitally online, but there's just no way I can, leaf through it like I can a paper. So, yeah, let's hope they don't do that. Like I say, especially QST, WEXTKHMS.
Now we'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get on my other radio and figure out where we can do the HF plus 6 band tonight. It'll be somewhere at 80 meters, but I got to go find an opening. So I'll be back here in a few minutes then. W8, well, heck, I meant W8EZT. Clear and monitoring.
Okay, KHMS clear. See you on 80.
Hello, Frank. If you use the frequency, I have to go downstairs with my daughter needs me.
Okay, Forrest, I apologize. This is W8EZT. I'm looking all over 80 meters, and I cannot find an opening yet, so I will make the announcement on the repeater just before the net starts. That's about 17 minutes. Hope to catch you. Thanks, W8EZT.
Thank you, sir.
This is W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, getting ready to hold our
W8VPV, KA8WTK, standing by.
Coming in loud and clear, Bill. Man, the 80 is just packed tonight. It's the longest I've ever searched for an open little window, and I hope it stays that way.
Yeah, I think you're okay here. This should work good for the net.
Very good. We'll get this thing started in just about a minute. Sounds like you had a good vacation.
Yeah, it was actually pretty relaxing. We did a little walking around, did a little shopping here and there, and just attempted to enjoy the thing. Chicago is the craziest place when it comes to parking. I've never seen so many cars on the road. I think they're on the road because they can't find a place to stop and park. It's just crowded all the time.
Yeah, that was the impression I got. Many years ago, I had a chance to interview for company called SPSS. I think IBM bought them somewhere along there, and they flew me out to Chicago, and their offices are on Wacker Drive, and I got to admit it had a lot of appeal, but in retrospect I said no, and I'm kind of glad I did. So, all right, W8VPV here. We'll be starting our net in about 30 seconds. Let me get something to drink, clear my throat, and I'll be right back. Good hearing you in there, Bill.
Yep, W8VPV, K8WTK. I'll be waiting for you to start.
calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday Night HF Net. My name is Frank. My call is W8EZT, but for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call, Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor. This is an open, directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. local time, preceded by our VHF UHF net at 8:30 and the transmission of amateur radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll start with some announcements that ask for check-ins from any officer or member with announcement of general interest to the club. Once that's done, we'll take 5 at a time. If it's a light net, and if it's anything like our VHF, UHF net, it will be a light net tonight. We'll take you one by one there. Purpose of this net also is to make sure that if you have the equipment and the antenna, it's operating. How many people let them sit there without use? So that's the big reason we do it. We're getting a lot of people out there. All right, some quick announcements when I find the page. All right, stand by, Forrest. I'll get you first, but stand by. You are on frequency. I do hear you. All right, some announcements here coming up this Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. at Pilgrim United Church in downtown Cuyahoga Falls, corner of Broad and 2nd Street. And also on Zoom will be our activity meeting featuring a ham named Steve Dick, K1RF, love that call sign, who will be discussing NFET antennas, something for everyone. A great way to learn about the useful antennas that only require 2 support points. If you're going to submit a newsletter article, we'd appreciate it in by the 30th of October. You can send them to newslettereditor@cfarc.org. Wednesday, November 8th will be our last business meeting of the year. We're going to wrap things up. We'll probably have a short activity meeting at the end. Wednesday, November 22nd, that's the day before Thanksgiving. We will have a meeting. Topic will be to be announced. It'll be some kind of an activity meeting, maybe something more on antennas. December 6th is our last meeting of the year, and it's in fact our Christmas dinner. It'll be held at the New Era Restaurant on Maslin Road in Akron. The program will be a presentation by Dr. Max Grubb about early broadcasting, emphasizing broadcast in the Akron-Cleveland area. This would be AM broadcasting, so hope to see you there. All right, that's all I've got for announcements. Let me go ahead and open the net and take a couple of check-ins. By any chance, do we have some check-ins, like 5? Take the first 5 now.
Kilo 8 is Zulu Tango.
First, and any more check-ins?
Kilo 8 is Zulu Tango. Kilo 8 is Zulu Tango.
Got you, Anthony. Next. All right, I heard WA3JAT in there. Got you, Jim. I heard Mike, WB8CXO. Next.
WO3X, Whiskey Oscar 3 X-Ray.
Got 5 here, WO3X. Okay, back to the top. Forrest, how are you doing? Okay, first, I got you checked in. If you have anything else to add, come on back in. Anthony, go ahead. You're sounding good tonight.
Well, thank you. I'm running 5 watts here to the vertical. It's not the best, but it's great. It's okay for 80. And just wanted to give you a shout. This is KHCT.
All right, very good, Anthony. Appreciate that. Go ahead, Forrest. What did you say? I heard you in there, Forrest, but Anthony was on top of you. Go ahead again, Forrest. All right, nothing heard. I got you in the log then. Jim, WA3JAT, go ahead. You're coming in good tonight.
Okay, very good, Frank. W8GPV, WA3JAT. I've got a real high noise level here for some reason tonight, so I won't keep it too long. Just give you one for the numbers.
All right, appreciate it. Have yourself a great weekend, a great evening, and we'll see you Wednesday. Mike, WB8CXO, go ahead, sir. Good talking to you, Mike. Yeah, it's amazing. I used to work in consulting, helping faculty, staff, students use the computer, and you get a grad student in there trying to tell you, whoops, let me turn this down. Get a grad student in there telling you what his program was trying to do, and about 2/3 of the way through it, he'd sit there and go, oh, that's it. I know what's wrong. Thank you, you got it. Thanks, you're great. And run out of there, and I just had him explain it to me. I had no idea what he was doing. Very good, Mike. WO3X, John, go ahead.
Good evening, Frank, and all on the net. This is WO3X. Yeah, not much to report here. Now, next week, Monday, the next Monday is the 5th Monday of the month. So we will have the band exploration net on 17 meters, on or about 18.127 megahertz. So I'll be the net control operator for that net, also for the VHF UHF net before that, at 8:30. But at 9:30, it's going to be on 17 meters, on or about 18.127 megahertz, upper sideband. Back to the net, this is WO3X.
Very good, John. I'll make that add that to my list of announcements. I wish I'd gotten that in there earlier on the 2-meter net. Yeah, I'll be curious to see how that works out. I have my gap tighten's supposed to be able to do 17 meters, and I'm pretty sure my vertical will tune to it, so I'd appreciate a signal report next week. All right, I'm at the bottom of my list. This is W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night HF net. Looking for any more check-ins. We'll take them one at a time.
KA8WTK.
KA8WTK. Go ahead, Bill.
Yep, not much new, Frank. Just sitting here playing with a couple of computers at the same time, which can get confusing. But we're on our dipole tonight in the 7300. And I was going to use my Heath kit here, and something's gone squirrely in them, the 301 and 401. When I tee up on the 401, I get a squeal in the audio. So I believe it has something to do with the level control for the carrier. As I change it, the squeal changes. So I know which tube to go looking for now. Anywho, that's about it. So I'll let you get back to taking check-ins. W8VPV, KA8WTK.
Thanks, Bill. Good hearing you in there as always, and I hope one of these days before the snow flies I get a little bit of time to sit down and socialize. I'd love to come over and just talk for a little bit, crack on with you, and let you know how things are going. But very good. Good hearing you in there, and have a great week. Hope to see you maybe Wednesday on Zoom, even if you can't make the meeting. All right, W8VPV, looking for any last check-ins. Come now.
WO3X recheck.
Go ahead, recheck.
Yeah, this is WO3X. Hearing Bill there reminded me that I wanted to mention that the second year that I was here in Ohio, the company sent me to the IEEE EMC Symposium, and it was in Santa Clara, California. A good time was had by all who attended. They have a social event on the Wednesday, and then in 2005, August 2005, they sent me again, and that time it was in Chicago at the Navy Pier, and so I stayed in the what they call it, the Hard Rock Hotel, which was an office building converted. And back in 71 to 72, I lived in Mount Prospect, Illinois, and I was a customer service representative for a business machine company, and so two of us shared the Chicago downtown area, and then I had an area that was essentially south of Interstate 55. But I think Merchandise Mart was the building you were referring to about being close to or something some years ago. So we were all over that city there, dealing with those business machines. So with that, back to the net. This is WO3X.
Very good, Bill. You might be right. I honestly, it's been about 15 years. I do not remember. I will remember it because I think it was a shopping building, because I remember my grandmother, it was Macy's, I don't know, one of those big ones, not Sears, but another well-known one in Chicago that is no more. But went past the building a number of times, walking from where the training session was back to the hotels. Beautiful area. I know I had to cross over the river through Chicago, and they had all the little tourist boats going down underneath it. Alrighty, let's see if there's anybody else out there. Last chance, and then we'll wrap this thing up. This is W8BPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday night HFNet. Do we have any last check-ins? Alright, then with that, we'll go ahead and quit scrambling the ionosphere and wrap this thing up. This has been, let's see here, in preparing to close this net, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been Frank. My call is W8EZT. It has been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, we'll close this net with 7 check-ins, myself included, and return this frequency to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 9:43 p.m. local time. 73, everybody.
WA3JAT, WA3JAT, KACT.